ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। गुकारस्त्वन्दकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। So, Bhashyakara is showing us that the self is of the nature of consciousness and of the nature of happiness. The nature of self is existence, consciousness and happiness. But due to ignorance, we take it to be body, mind, intellect, complex. Here, we must be very clear about this fact that, see, we do not take these other things, other objects of the world, such as house, tree, books, microphone, etc. These are not taken as I. We never mistake this to be I, but we take the body to be I. Why? Because there is a reason. First of all, the body is the place for the self to indwell. Second thing, what has happened is there is mutual superimposition. Body, which this whole thing is the body, mind, intellect, complex. This is Sthula Sharira as well as Sukshma Sharira. Gross body, up to here, this is gross body. And all this is the subtle body. And both these bodies are because of which body? Huh? No. Are because the existence of this two, Sthula Sharira, and this is all in the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. The cause of them is what? Causal body. So all these three. But we are not writing about that here just now. Why? Because it is understood that ignorance is the cause of the subtle body as well as the gross body. Okay. But as I said, these two, consciousness and the body, are mixed up. We have lumped them together. The question is, why do we not take this to be Atma? And why do we take the body to be Atma? There is a reason. Why? Because this is closer. Body is close to us. Because it is the indwelling place. And the most important thing is that this body appears to be conscious. It appears to be conscious. Why? Precisely because consciousness is there inside. Inside means the consciousness or the consciousness of the self. Understand? See, body has something very special. What is the special thing about the body? It is something which can reflect consciousness easily. This thing cannot reflect it because there is absence of subtle body here. For example, I will tell you that all the surfaces will not reflect light. It is only a shining surface which will reflect light. See, if the sun is there, this kind of thing will not reflect light. But if there is water, or if there is mirror, or the glass is there, then that will easily reflect the light. That thing, mirror or the glass, etc., has the quality or the property by which it can reflect light. Similarly, the subtle body, mainly which body? Subtle body, which means ahankara, buddhi, manaha, pranaha, jnanendriyani, karmendriyani. This group of 17, I forgot to write here, up to here is subtle body. This group of 17, mainly in that also mainly ahankara. This has the capacity to reflect consciousness. This doesn't have the capacity because this is gross. Here there are only 5 elements. There is nothing subtle over here. Whereas here there is something special about this. Ahankara, buddhi, manaha, pranaha. Mainly this. Because it catches the consciousness very fast. Wherever there is subtle body, consciousness will be reflected. Understand this well. And that is why body or this whole complex appears to be conscious. It appears sentient. And that is why we mistake it. Because it appears sentient, because it appears conscious, it is walking, talking, moving, etc. So we feel that this is live thing. It is in spite of being inert, in spite of being jada, that is inert, it appears to be conscious. And so, we take it to be consciousness or I. Why? Because there is, as I said, mutual superimposition. What superimposition? Consciousness is first reflected in the buddhi. First it is caught by this. It is first reflected here. Because of that, this is livened up. Then that light or that consciousness is transmitted to intellect. Then it is transmitted to mind. Then like that, in progression, the consciousness is transmitted. But which is the one which first catches the ahankara or buddhi? Here it comes first. This is something very subtle. It catches the consciousness first, then it is passed on to all the levels. And that is why, thanks to the consciousness, that this appears to be conscious. This appears conscious because it has caught the consciousness. This is one superimposition. Then the inertness of the body is superimposed upon the consciousness. As I said, there is mutual superimposition. The inertness, the limitedness, this body, this whole complex is limited in time, space and capacity. All that is superimposed where? Upon consciousness. That is why we say I am limited. I occupy only this much space. My height is 5 feet. Or whatever. I know only some of the things. All those belong here. But that is superimposed here. And the consciousness of this is superimposed here. This is called lumping together. And that is why, see, this is one thing, Purusha or Atma. This is Prakriti or Anatma. But combination of these two, what happens? Jiva, Ahankara. Ahankara is a product of consciousness and grossness. Body and consciousness. Coming together of these two gives birth to Jiva. Jiva is not this. This is inert. There is no Jivaness here. But this being reflected here and this thing being superimposed there gives rise to Jiva. So what is Jiva? Who is Jiva? Consciousness identifying with this complex is Jiva. You follow? This alone is not Jiva. That alone is also not Jiva. But this is totally inert. But this consciousness looking upon this as I becomes Jiva. So Jiva is Chit, Jada, Granthi. This is Chit, this is Jada. Because of these two being together, who comes into existence? Chit, Jada, Granthi means Ahankara. Ahankara has two things. That I-ness in Ahankara belongs to Chit. But limitedness of the Ahankara belongs where? Belongs to whom? Belongs to what rather? Belongs to the complex. You follow now? You follow? This is what is Ahankara. There is no entity called Ahankara. Ahankara is nothing but a notion arising from Chit looking upon the body as I. There is no person called Ahankara. Ahankara is nothing but consciousness looking upon the body as I. That I really belongs there. And this I is not one person. This is what? Everything. This I is self, Atma. Atma means that which pervades everything. Atma is Brahman. I'll give you another. This is very important to know. I'll just give you another. I'll draw another picture now. There is no, anyway, we will, because this is also required. No, but this is also required. We will make some space for this. See, this is space, just for your knowledge I am saying. Just for your, this is space, This is space. Actually there is no boundary to space, but this is space. Now there is one pot here. Another pot here. Another pot here. Another pot here. Another pot here. This is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4 and 5. See. Now, one thing called pot. This is one thing. And this is space. This is pot. 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 This is space. Now tell me, how many spaces are there? One. And how many pot spaces are there? 5. Pot spaces are 5. But space is 1. Are there really 5 pot spaces?
Space part in them is only one. Pots are many. Now, what I am trying to say, space is in the place, this is an example that I am giving. Space is in the place of consciousness. And pots are in the place of this whole thing, complex. Body, mind, intellect, complex. Causal body, subtle body, and which body? Gross body. This is, here all three are there. Space is consciousness. Now, there are two different things. This is space and this is spot. They are in no way connected. Are they connected? No. Can you bind the space with the pots? For binding one thing to another, you require two things of the same type. I can bind this with my sari. Because this has form, this has shape, and this also has. Two things of the similar type can be bound. But can we bind space with anything? With any planet? Galaxy? Milky Way? Earth? Sun? No. Why? Because they are they do not enjoy the same kind of reality. One is one, another is another thing. So, in spite of this being the fact, space, now understand, space looking at this, because there is space here also. There is space here also. Space is everywhere. In fact, the pot is in the space. Pot is in the space. Now space identifying with the pot, identifying means it is here and it thinks, oh, I am only this much. What space thinks? I'm confined to this pot. I'm confined to this pot. I'm confined to this pot. This sense of being confined to this pots gives rise to complexes in whom? In whom? No, in this, as I said, in this example, space is consciousness. See, here you may not understand, so I am explaining through this another example. This is consciousness, just for example. And this is bodies, these are bodies. Now here, just as Chit, identifying with this, thinks that I am Jiva. Similarly here, space, identifying with the pot becomes what? Pot space. Means one Jiva. Space, identifying. Identifying means they are not connected, not tied really, but it is only a notion born in the space looking at this, that I am what? I am pot space. And once this happens, then what will happen? Oh no, this is a big space, pot space. So I have to grow to this size to become big. A complex always arises when this pot space means this Jiva looks at this Jiva, it has inferiority complex. But when this one looks at this one, or there may be this one, then what will it feel? Superior. I am something. Hum bhi kisi se kam nahi. I am also someone. See, you understand? What happens? Space identifying with the pot becomes one pot space, another pot space, and there are not only pots, there are many things. Pitcher is also there, plate is, so many things are there. In this manner, jivas are many. Consciousness is how much? One. You follow now? This is called identify. Combination of these two. Combination means no real combination, no real coming together. But merely here, when the space identifies, oh, I am this much only, finished. Then in spite of being this, in spite of being here, in spite of being here, in spite of being here, in spite of all the pots being in the space, being in it, still what does it feel? I am nobody. I have to do something. feels limited in every way, even though it may be very big. There will always be a bigger one. And then suffers. This is samsara. Samsara is only this much. You follow? I'll give you another. These are the standard examples given in Vedanta to explain jiva. Not jiva, but why we feel limited. This is one example. This is called avachedavada, just for your information. There is another, pratibimbavada. There is another one. Now we will have two. Yeah, okay. This is very important. We will verses we will do, but why these notions have to be removed? Unless and until the space removes this, pot need not be removed. Pot is not confining it. But he has to come to know that I am not this. Even though the pot is in me, I am not in the pot. What is required is not becoming big, because it is already big. What is required is only knowledge that I am in no way connected to this pot. This is called knowledge. Second, another example, that is called pratibimbavada. This is avachedavada. This is what Bhashyakara is doing. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this, in the first 3 lines. Now this is sun. And this is one bucket. This is another bucket. This is still big bucket. And there is one small bucket. Now, here the sun is reflected. This is water. Now you tell me, this is one reflection, this is another reflection, this is number 3, this is number 4. Now, what is the, in our Darshtanta, or what is the place of the sun? Sun is in place of what? Consciousness. And what is the place of this? So this is gross body. Bucket is gross body. Water is subtle body. This is everywhere, understand this. Bucket is gross body, water inside is subtle body. That means mind, intellect, etc. And who is this? Consciousness reflected in the water. Has it gone inside? Has it gone? No. Not gone, but still, if the water is there, if the bucket is there, and if the water is there, reflecting medium is there, you cannot stop the reflection. You cannot stop the reflection. If a patra is there and the water is there, reflection is bound to be there. And reflection will depend upon the quality of the water. If it is pure, reflection will be pure. If it is muddy, that time. Depends. So, this jiva, one jiva, another jiva. This is, the sun has not come inside. It is merely reflected. Follow? So, looking at this is one jiva. He feels that I am smaller. So, he wants to become big. And the quality of this reflection, as I said, will depend upon the quality of the water. He will not like it. Oh, my mind is not good. I am not that intelligent. So what he will do? He will try to improve the quality of this. But is it necessary? What is necessary? What will remove all these problems once and for all? To know that I am not here. Means, I am not, he should not make the judgment from how it is reflected. This is what shall we say, transparent. This has no qualities. Sun has no qualities other than light. This has, the quality of the water may be muddy, and depend, the color may be green. There is green sea, blue sea, black sea. So many colors are there in water. So reflection will appear green, black, blue, etc. But sun has no color. You follow? Sun has no color. That's why Bhashyakara keeps on saying, Chidananda Rupaha, Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham, it has to know, I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. Before doing anything, first ask, do I need to do this or should I know something? This is what is Atma Anatma Viveka. Atma Anatma Viveka means this one has to know that I am not this. You follow? When the death happens, then what happens? This gross body remains here, means then you will cremate it. But this water gets transferred into another pot. Then a pot is given to you. Bhagavan gives you another pot. And this water comes here. This is called birth, and here it is death. What has happened to this one? Now it is reflected here. Is it born? Is it dead? No. Follow? So now I wanted to make, this is called lumping together. In Brahma Sutra, in Adhyas Bhashya, Bhashyakara, this is the only problem in life. No problem without problem. Problem without, if there was a real problem, we can do something. But what to do with this? Here you have to educate. What is required is education. And that is only required. Otherwise, मैं तो samsari हूँ. I am samsari. When will I come out? Oh, I have children, I have wife, I have husband, I have this, I have that. This is not samsara. Samsara is this notion. Samsara is this, and with all this, also one can be free. King Janaka, he was known Vaideha. Why? Because he was never identified with the body. Otherwise, king has bigger a samsara. But he was never identified with it. It doesn't belong to me. I'm not doing. I'm not that. You follow what is knowledge? That is being done in the first 3 lines. Okay? So, we have to constantly, this will not happen in one day. We have to constantly remind ourselves, I am that, I am that, I am that. And that is here, means whenever you say I, this I is really of that. Without getting into this, I merely am reflected there. Follow? So this is what? So now we proceed. This was something very important which I had to point out. Come on. One part, one charana we will take, so part of it. You repeat after me. Name dvesh rago, name lobha moho, name dvesh rago, name lobha moho, madho naiva me naiva Matsarya bhavaha madhu naiva me naiva Matsarya bhavaha na dharmo na charto na kamo na mokshaha chidanandaru Shivoham. So, now Bhashyakara
again comes back to the mind. He says, Name dvesha, ragaha, name lobha, mohaha, madaha naiva me, naiva matsarya bhavaha. Where is our mind? Yes. So, all this which are mentioned here, raga, dvesha, moha, lobha, madaha, matsarya. These 6 which are considered to be 6 enemies residing in the mind. Shad ripuhu. All this, Bhashyakara says, they are in the mind. They are different modes of the mind. And in the mind also, why? As we can easily say that all this is due to ignorance. Ignorance of my real nature. Can flip it now. Actually, it is here, Okay. So, ignorance of the true nature gives rise to this kind of modes of the mind. First is dvesha, means raga and dvesha. Raga means attachment. When will this attachment rise? When I feel that I am the body and I am related to something, and the raga means I cannot do without this. My relationship with a given object or a person is such that without which I cannot do. That is called raga. Only in the presence of this I feel good. And dvesha is in the presence of something I feel uncomfortable. So this is also a mode of the mind. All this is arising out of a sense of limitation. First I think myself to be this body and then I am related to this one. My son, my daughter, my husband, my wife, my mother, my father. Whose father and mother? Mine. Who is that mine? Who is that I? I which is identified with the body. Not this one, not the self. It has no connection. I has no mother, father, brother, nothing. It has no connection whatsoever. But once you are identified with this, the one who has given birth to this is mother. There are siblings, then there is husband, wife. All this is, and then we have raga for them. We have raga for people, we have raga for objects. Why? Because without them I cannot do. Similarly, dvesha also. Similarly, what happens? Lobha. Lobha also is greed. When my desire is fulfilled, then I want more of it. And if desire is obstructed, then I have anger. Problem is, if the desire is obstructed, then it comes out in a distorted form. What? Anger. And if it is fulfilled, it doesn't go away. Then what happens? I want more. I want more. So this is the mode of the mind which is called lobha or greed. Then there is moha. Moha means delusion. Delusion means seeing a thing which is not there. Seeing something which is not there. Arjuna is seeing brothers and teacher and all this in his enemies. They were enemies, but he is seeing his family in them, in a situation where he need not have thought that way. So this mode of mind is called delusion. Moha. Madaha is pride. Pride also because of what? I am someone. Who is that someone? Consciousness is what it is. I feel that I am someone because I am more intelligent, more beautiful, more this, more that. Pride is also always with reference to a given complex. Pride, here what is there to be proud of? And with whom I will be proud? Consciousness has no other person to be related to or to be proud of. Pride also is nothing but thinking too highly about oneself from the reference point of this body. You follow? Madaha. Then Matsarya. Matsarya means jealousy or envy. When I see someone having something more than me, it reminds me of what I do not have. When somebody has something more, then rather than appreciating what happens to that person, then it reminds me, oh, I don't have that. That I cannot bear. And that gives rise to this mode of mind called Matsarya. But the greatest solace is that they are not my dharmas. They are not my qualities. They are all the qualities of the mind. Mind which is ignorant. They all abide in the mind, not here. Consciousness merely illumines. Because of the light of consciousness, whatever is there in the mind is illumined. Just as because of the projector, the things on the screen are illumined. Projector is not what is there on the screen. It merely illumines. The light illumines the board. Light is not the board. Because of the light, you can see what is there on the board. You follow? Similarly, because of consciousness, we can see what is going on in the mind. We are aware of what is going on in the mind. Yesterday I told you that the knower is always different from the known. When I know that there is a mode of mind called jealousy, I am aware of it, that means I am not that. So Bhashyakara says, Name dveshaha, ragaha, and all these thoughts or modes of mind makes us unhappy. None of this is really making us happy, because whenever there is raga means attachment. See, understand, there is difference between attachment and love. Attachment is going to bind me. Attachment means I'm going to expect something. When I love someone, when I'm related to someone with the relation of attachment, then what happens? If I expect something, because I do all this for you, and if you do not return it, then I'm disappointed. I try to control you. I have my demands. All this is attachment. All that is attachment. And that is why when we do not get what we have given, then we are disappointed. We are frustrated. Oh, what did I get? I gave you so much. I spent my whole life. I brought so much money. I did this much. And what have you given? So tomorrow you go your way, I go my way. It can happen. Even if we are together, we are not together. Why? Because of attachment. Attachment demands. Attachment controls. Attachment will get disappointed also. Where there is attachment, there are all that 99% the chances are that you will be disappointed. Because others' mind is not the same. You cannot control anyone. So what I am trying to say is that attachment is a binding thing. Whereas if there is love, you give freedom. But then what way? They will go away. They will not go away anywhere. Let them go. Where there is love, there is freedom. Love doesn't try to control. See, Mahatmas have love. Whether you do or you do not do, we continue to love. Because love is my nature. So this is on the side I am telling you. See, if we understand this, then we can create a distance with the mind. Otherwise, if the attachment and lobha and moha, all these modes of the mind are so strong that they will not allow me to create a distance. They will not allow me to think that I am different from them. When can you say that I am not this? They are objects of my knowledge and I am the knower. I am the witness, and all these modes of the mind are witnessed. Sakshi, Sakshya. When can you say that? When you can think like this. When the mind is composed. When the mind is leisure. But if the attachment is too strong, if the anger is there, if the lobha is there, where is the mind got the leisure to think of all this? It is swept away when the river is in flood, when the splurge is there, then you get swept away.
But if you are on the bank, then you can let the flow pass.
So what I am saying, the mind has to be composed. Then and then it can create this distance. Then and then it can say, Name Dvesha, Name Raga. Then understand. And that is why Bhagavan said, do Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is why important. It will prepare your mind to think on these lines. I am not this. When can I say Name Dvesha, Name Raga? When mind is prepared. That is why Arjuna said, I want to renounce. Bhagavan said, no. Even if you renounce, you will not be able to do this work. This work is sattvic. This work requires a lot of distance between me and the mind, which you cannot do unless and until you have prepared your mind. If I am not mind, then I will see that I am not this. Let the lobha be there. That means you are under the effect of lobha. You follow what I am saying? Mind has to be primarily sattvic, composed, objective. Only then and then it can create this kind of distance and can think. Okay? Then further. Madhoha, na dharmaha, na cha arthaha, na kamaha, na moksha. This talks about the 4 purusharthas of life. We have this 4 purushartha, which the order here the order is given dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That is how it is always spoken. But the real order is, first comes kama, then comes artha, then comes dharma, and then comes moksha, generally speaking. Why? Because, first of all, what an ordinary person will seek sense gratification. When the ignorance is there, then all human beings seek what? Sense gratification. Gratification at all the levels of organs. So, kama is this, seeking gratification. But gratification also requires wealth. Gratification also requires some security. So, for that, artha is required. And after a certain time, when you have satisfied your senses, then you want name, fame, something more intellectual, etc. For all that also, artha is required. So, kama, artha. Then there is pursuit of dharma, seeking dharma. Dharma means, there is a thought process in my mind that I should prepare for my journey later on. And so I do good karmas. In the earlier days, dharma means preparing for heavens. But now we do not have that kind of thing. But we, conscientious people, are aware that if we do good, then it will come with us. So do something good. Reach out. So all this is dharma. And then there is this pursuit or seeking for liberation. So these are 4. Liberation. I want to be free. Free means what? I want to be free from this cycle of birth and death. This life of becoming always. So these are the 4 purushartha. Artha, kama, artha, dharma, moksha. All this belongs to whom? Who does it really belong to? Body. Body is inert. Consciousness, it has nothing to do. Then to whom? Who? To whom? This one identified with, see, this is inert, it cannot think. And this one has no problem. But when this one identifies with this, then it becomes small. In this example, space, when it identifies with this spot, it feels, oh, I am small. I have to become big. So this two goes together, space, pot, space, like that here, coming together of this. This one identifying with this becomes jiva. So all this apply to whom? Jiva. Jiva means ignorant.
Jiva means he has already identified with this. Once he identifies, then he wants karma. No, I now want good things for the body. Then I want money. Then I want to do punya. I want to do rituals. I want to fast and so many other things. I want to give dhanam, this, that. You follow? Dharma. And then, now I want to be free. I want to achieve moksha in this life. Who is saying all this? Jiva. Jiva. You follow? So Bhashyakara is saying, this doesn't apply here. All these are needs. Karma is need. Desire for gratification is a need that has arisen because of identifying with. I am body. Then body wants certain things. These are needs. When will the need arise? This one has no need. Why? Because it knows if the real knowledge is there is no need in this. Need comes when I identify with this. Space has a need to become big when it identifies with this much pot. Then it wants to become big. You follow? So Bhashyakara says all these four do not apply to this one. And this is real I. They don't apply to self. Because Atma is already Mukta. Where is it bound? Tell me. Is space bound? No. Not bound. So if you know the true identity, then even the need for moksha is not there. I will tell you a story. Why? Because space is not bound with the pot. It has only the notion that I am pot. It is not bound. Is it bound? Has the sun, in our another example, has the sun entered into that bucket? No, it is merely reflected. Similarly, consciousness is merely reflected. This I remains asangaha. Asango there is a statement in Brihadaranyaka where Yajnavalkya says, I am asangaha. I means Atma. The self is asanga. Asanga means it's never connected. Just as space. Never connected. In the space the pots are. But space is not entwined with the pots. If you know this, there is no karma, no artha, no dharma, no more, no need. You may do it as one thing, but no need. You follow this? Then, as I was saying, there was one story. How moksha also is a notion. The need for moksha is also a notion. That I am bound is also a notion. See, there was a teacher and a disciple. The disciple used to do seva, used to serve his teacher. And teacher had a big place, big ashram. And he had some cows also. So every day it was the duty of the disciple to take the cows for grazing. Take them for grazing, bring them back and put them in the cow shed. So as usual, this disciple today took all the 4 cows for grazing. Then brought them back in the evening and then tied them. 3 he already tied with the post and they sat down. 4th one, while he wanted to tie the 4th cow with the post, he found that there is no rope. The rope he could not find. So, the cow will not sit down. Unless he ties, the cow will not sit down. He tried so hard, sit down and all that, pulled his tail and everything. But the cow will not sit down. So the disciple went to the teacher. And he's telling, the cow is not sitting. And because I have lost the rope and I cannot tie it, and it is not sitting. What to do? Guru is smart. So Guruji said that you make the gesture of tying. You merely, as when you really tie and do everything, similarly today also you go and you do the gesture of tying the cow, you do that. And the disciple went to that cow and did that. like this he's acting, you're doing, making the cow sat down immediately. The next day he again gets up and wants to take them for grazing. He untied the 3 cows. They got up, and the 4th one is not getting up. It's not getting up. This fellow is trying, pulling the tail and everything, and they speak in the language, get up, and in their language, with the cow understand. The cow doesn't budge from the place. So now he again goes to the teacher and says, the cow is not getting up. But did you untie? But I did not tie it in the first place. Where is the question of untying? He said, untie the way you tied it. Untie the cow in the same manner in the way you tied it. This guru, so the disciple goes and unties the cow, makes the gesture. Cow got up, immediately got up. So tell me, what was the nature of the tying and what was the nature of untying? Was it a real phenomena? Was it what was it in the mind of the cow? Tell me, the tying was also a notion. Moment the thing is done, it sat down. And moment this thing is done, it got up. Both were notions. There was no real tying and no untying. Same is the case with the self. Neither am I bound, and so I don't have to be liberated. You follow? But as long as I think I'm bound, I have to worry and do something. Okay, then tomorrow no listening, no Shravana, no nothing. But that we should feel. In the name of bondage, then we do all things. In the name of liberation, now we can know nothing. Those needs are also not there. No needs live. No needs remain. Other than all binding needs go away. Binding desires go away. That you have to eat and drink and live in a certain manner is fine. But I want this only. I want to live only in USA. I want only this. I want 2 cars. And that too, which one? Big ones. I don't know the names. I want only 4G, 3G, 5, 6. Now 7 has come. 7, 8, 12. They will reach any number. I want that. And if that is not given, I'm gone. These are all simple things that I'm thinking of. In life, we feel frustrated. We feel disappointed. We are unhappy. Why? Because I did not get that. I did not get this. These people left me. Though he left me, this happened, that happened. All these are in the mind. Binding desires. Binding desires. If they are not fulfilled, my life is not a success. These do not remain. You follow? So, even the Artha, Dharma is not there for Atma, Kama, Moksha and 4 Purusharthas. Then who am I? Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham, Shivoham. This we have to think. Okay, let us begin. We'll just begin the second one and then we have the other project also today, but still. Na punyam na papam na saukhyam na dukkham na punyam na papam na saukhyam na dukkham na mantro na tirtham na vedanaya na mantro na tirtham anayagnyah aham bhojanam naiva bhojam na bhokta chidam
Chidanandarupah Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupah Shivoham Shivoham. Similarly, na punyam na papam. See, punya and papa also are not for the self. Punya is something, punya is an action which is done, keeping in mind the order of the creation, then it results into punya. Whenever we do an action which doesn't harm the harmony of the creation, it automatically becomes punya. And when you violate the harmony of the creation, when you give pain, deliberately when you give pain to others, it becomes papa. Why? Because I don't want to be unhappy, but I don't mind by my actions if you are unhappy. This will become papa. But if I perform an action by which you become happy, that will be punya. When I deliberately do certain things by which others are given something, automatically this is punyam and papa. Now, Bhashyakara says all this also belongs to Jiva. Atma is not a doer. There is no action absolutely in what? In self. Self has no action at all. That is why Bhagavan told Arjuna, Arjuna is thinking, Swajanam hi hatva. By killing my near and dear ones, I'll be a sinner. Bhagavan says this itself shows that you do not know. Yet Bhagavan says one who takes himself to be a doer and also enjoyer, which means one who takes oneself to be the agent of action and also the object of action. See, we do two things. We do certain things as well as we feel that we became the object of what you have done. See, this one is the doer. This hand is the doer. It hurts. It strikes with this hand. This was the striker. And what happened to this? It became the object of the action striking. Now both these actions are I think when I do something I feel I am a doer. And when you tell me something, when you insult me, I feel I was insulted. I became the object of your insult. When I do something and it hurts you, I feel guilty. And when you do something to me, I'm hurt. Both these are because sense of guilt, sense of hurt, sense of doing something, sense of being the object of somebody's action. All this shows that I take myself to be a doer, enjoyer, speaker. See, the speech is speaking. Atma is not speaking. You follow? The sense or the faculty of hearing is hearing. Atma is not hearing. But without this cannot hear also. Without this, why will this not hear? Tell me. It is inert. It is inert. Only because of this consciousness, the light of consciousness, that this body can function. This is not functioning. This is this is to be understood. This doesn't do anything, but still in the presence of this begins to do. You follow what I am saying? Just as there is a magnet. That magnet is there. We don't even move it. It is steady. And the iron filings and certain other things are there. Automatically, by the mere presence of the magnet, there will be movement in the iron filings. What did this fellow do? What did the magnet do? Nothing. Mere presence.
Similarly, consciousness is there. And this begins to function. Presence of this makes this function. Function is here. But because of this, but not knowing this is working. Hands are doing, mind is working. And what do I say? I am thinking. Who says this? Who says this? Atmas. Jiva. Means consciousness identified with this is Jiva, and he says, oh, I did papa, I did punya. You follow? That is why Bhagavan said, you don't know. Nayam hanti na hanyate. Atma doesn't even kill, nor does it get killed. You are superimposing what is done by Prakriti, that is the Anatma upon throughout the thing there is only superimposition. That is why Bhashyakara is, Atma doesn't perform punya, Atma doesn't perform papa. But if it thinks that I am the doer, then it will be born again. Born again for enjoying the good actions and suffering for the... You can't escape. Once you identify and call yourself doer, then you have to suffer. So I will not call myself. Mere calling doesn't work. You must know. And this doesn't give where do I kill anyone? So let me do whatever permissiveness. No. One who knows this will not even do. You follow? Automatically, so both this punya and papa are also notions born of identifying. Action is performed here, it is superimposed upon that. Atma has no need for punya, no papa. Once you think you are doing, then automatically you will feel, why did I not do good actions? At the end of the life you feel like that. Not at the end of the life then we will feel, Kimaham sadhu na karavam. Why did I not do good action? Because now that will be before you. Yamaraja is standing. Yamaduta. So why didn't I do good? And why did I do bad? Kimaham sadhuna karavam. Kimaham papam akaravam. But both this kind of things do not trouble who? Who? One who knows I am not the doer. That doesn't mean he doesn't do good, huh? Mahatmas and Acharyas and good people do very good actions. In fact, their whole of their life is spent in doing good. But still, they know that that is done by Ishvara, Prakriti. I am not doing. But still, they will prompt the body to do in the right way. You follow this? So, Atma is no punyam, no papam. Na saukyam na dukkham. Even happiness. Saukyam means happiness. Dukkham. Sukha, understand now. Even happiness, this happiness is different from the ananda of this. Happiness is also a mode of mind. Dukkham, that is unhappiness, is also a mode of mind. In fact, they are fences. In fact, they are fences of the mind. Ananda is inherent. Here this is real nature. But when I say I am happy, when something good happens, when an object pleases me, then there is a thought of happiness. When something displeases me, there is dukkha. But sukha and dukkha, these modes, both of them are reactions. Both of them are reactions. Why? Because, understand, that which I call a source of happiness, you will find a source of unhappiness. Just a small example I am giving you. If somebody is smoking, then for him it is sukha. And for me it is dukkha. It is his fancy that it gives him happiness. And for me, it is dukkha. Same thing. If you give me a cup of tea in the afternoon, it is sukha. But then you wake me up at 3 o'clock at night. And then give, oh, you like tea very much, no? So tea. Then it is dukkham. Oh, forget it. Get lost. Not at this time. The wife, if she talks very well with the husband at home, is fine. But then she keeps on calling at the office at all hours. Then, hey, not now. I have to work. So the same object, which gives me happiness now, may not give me at other times. Today what I like, I may not like tomorrow. Because my tastes have changed. All this depends upon time, place, condition, education, training, etc. You follow? So these are nothing but reactions, nothing but fancies of the mind. And if I identify with this fancies of the mind, I become happy. Then in the morning I am happy, in the afternoon I am unhappy, in the evening I am totally gone. All this is dancing at the tune of the mind. Mind makes you dance. It makes you dance. If the mode is unhappy, I am unhappy. I join because I join. Like this in Panchadashi, Vidyaranya Swami gives a very good example. He gives an example of Natakadip. There is a stage. And on the stage there is a very big light. And on the stage now there is a show of a dancer going on. Bharatnatyam is going on. The light, that lamp illumines all the different facial expressions and all the abhinaya and all the dancing steps, everything. Then there is a musician also and there is singer, so many things. All of them are illumined by the Natakadip lamp. Is it the dancer? It merely illumines. Then this show goes. And now there is another show. There is now Pandit Jasrajji coming and singing. After he goes, now there is a comedy show. Then there is another show. One by one the show goes. It illumines everything, but it is none of them. Similarly, consciousness illumines the different modes of the mind. Kamaha, Krodhaha, Lobhaha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, happiness, moody, not moody, everything. It is totally beyond that. It is merely illumining. See, I illumine and still I get, because of ignorance, I join with that. Drashta becomes Drushya. The seer becomes the seen. This is identification. Again, identification. So, where are we? Na saukhyam, na dukkham. Na mantraha, na tirthaha, na vedaha, na yajna. All this mantra, tirtham. Mantra means the verses, mantras or the verses of the Vedas, etc. The shlokas. What shall we say? The mantra only. The mantras, all this is nothing but means of knowledge. Manana trayate iti mantraha. Reflection upon which helps you cross. That is called mantra. People give you mantras, no? Gurus give you mantra diksha, etc. So you do, these are spiritual means. These are religious means to purify yourself, with which you evolve yourself. So these are all in the category of means. They are not Atma. Atma is not mantra. Let me tell you, even the verses of the Upanishads, the statements of the Upanishads fall in the category of aparavidya. They are also not paravidya. Why? Because there may be a beautiful mantra like Tattvamasi, suppose. But these are words. Only the word itself is not Atma. Only when the words, when you understand very well, and then when it creates knowledge inside, then you come to know. But words itself are not Atma. So, mantra is also a means. Tirtham, places of pilgrimage, they are also means. We go there is a certain vibration, place is very pure and all that. We do darshan, etc. This is also a means. People do sadhana over there, means. Veda also give you knowledge. But here when the Vedas is said,
both Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. All these are means. Yajnaha, we do many sacrifices, many homas, etc. All these are certain means. So Bhashyakara says, I am not that. Don't take the means to be the end. Don't take the mantra to be Atma. With the help of the mantra, purify yourself. Get the knowledge. And then give it up. You are what you are. So in this way. And then aham bhojanam naiva. Now he is talking about the triputi or the triad. Bhojanam, bhojyam, bhokta. I am not any one of this. See, bhokta means eater. Now there is a, supposing this is food. So I am the eater. This is the thing which is, this is the food. So bhokta, then this is bhojyam, the food. And when I put it in the mouth, this will be bhojanam. You follow? Eater, the food which is to be eaten, and the act of eating. You will see these three throughout our interaction. Throughout our life, these three will come. See, you are the hearer, words are the bhojyam, means the words are in the place of something which is going into your ears, and the act of hearing. Hearer, heard, and the act of hearing. Seer, seen, and the act of seeing. Knower, known, and the act of knowing. You follow? In all the vyavahara, in all the interaction, these three come into picture. Where is Atma? Nowhere. Without Atma, this will not happen. Without this, there is no knower. There is nothing to be eaten. But still it is not that. You follow? So Bhashyakara says, aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. Branding yourself as doer, thinker, decider, all these are notions. I am not that. Then who are you? Chit Ananda Rupaha Shiva. But we have to think. We have to sit back and think upon this. That this is my true. Yogi Yunji Bhagavan says in Gita, one should sit back, take some time off. We have to remind ourselves constantly, because we have forgotten this. And even when we remind, habitually we will identify. This now it is very clear. But habitually, when I am doing something, I will call myself a doer. And really think, oh my, I'm sorry. Sorry means I did a wrong thing. Habitually, we will identify. So what we have to do now, this identification happens. Notions are there. And they are very strong. Their hold is very strong upon us. So what we do, now we make the other process equally strong. What process? Reminding myself about who I am. All the time, or whenever we get time, we should have quality time for this. Leisure time, not when we have to go to work. When you are composed, sit back and think about this. Give time to yourself. I am this. Even though mind is saying that I am nobody. This is wrong. Keep on telling. This belongs to the mind. I am the illuminator of the mind. I am not this. One has to do this. One has to religiously and seriously do this. Half an hour in the morning, half an hour at night. Or begin with one time. Sit back and do this. Atmanam rahasya sthitah. And choose a quiet place for this. One should make a habit of sitting alone when there is no disturbance. And when you begin to do this, you will go to sleep also. Dhyanam is the best time to sleep.
Dhyanam can be the best because, oh, I was meditating, but if you go in, he is dozing. He is dozing. Why? Because body becomes composed. That is why it is always better to do some little puja. So hands and mind and everything is in action. Whole body is now, oriented to do. Then, after having done that, now do some japa. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. First loud, then slowly murmur, and then in the mind, Om Namah Shivaya. Mind has become quiet. Now begin to meditate. Now begin to meditate. Na buddhi, manaha, na this, na this. Don't just speak, understand. Need not speak, understand. Who am I? I am Shivaha. I am auspiciousness. I am mere consciousness. I am not father, not mother, not husband, not wife. I am none of this. These are merely roles. I am free from them. Remind yourself of this every day. Every day. There is absolutely no reason for sadness in me. This is full. This is one. Where is the question of relations? Relation is because I identify. Then there is husband and wife and brother and all that. Oh, Swaminiji, what are you doing with our life? This one has to know. This one has to know. Whether you are married or not or relation, you have to know this. There is no escaping this. Without this, there is no life. Success of life. Life is there, but no success of life. So, do this. Do this every day. Okay? So, we'll conclude here today and we will be able to complete. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.